Yeah, ready when you are, bro.
I have to hit record on that, but if you've got that running,
That's good.
all good, yeah?
Yeah, all good, brother.
Sweet,
all good.
right, let's line this mic up then, bro. Can't be talking to myself. Yeah?
Yes, brother.
Just give me an insight.
Inside the place is DJ MC
The Figurehead started a movement by yourself pretty much.
Yeah.
And created this wonderful office that we're sat in. Mm-hmm. But also, you managed to be able to create a team of people that can also then sort of feed from that vision, but it feeds them as well as it feeding you. Mm-hmm. So welcome, Dines, to the podcast.
Welcome. I'm feeling this.
Thanks,
I love this whole movement, bruv. And it's good that you've got it for your ass and actually done something that's like sick, that uses your talent, man. So I'm excited about where this is going.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
Thank you very much. And you were the first person I needed and I wanted to grace these microphones. So this is all. I've done tests with everything, but this is real. This is nice.
It's an honour, bro.
So, the podcast idea generally, I want to help inspire creativity in every human. Mm-hmm. We all have the ability to do that. I'm on a journey to do that. Your journey that I can visually see is just completely ridiculous. It's amazing to see on the social network side of things, but also on your personal accounts of things that you actually choose to share with people. But knowing that what you're actually showing everybody is 100% you is just so different from what is currently being fed to people. You know, that diet is very different. So, if you could take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, how you see things, and we'll crack on from there.
Yeah, I'm Dines, born and bred in London. Always been into my arts, into anything creativity. Come from a good family, always supportive. My mum's an artist. My dad's just he loved to work, provide for the family. Mm-hmm. Got a twin sister, both of us. You know, grew up kind of like doing stuff, you know what I mean? Like, she was into singing and acting. She was good at maths, sports. I was more just a drawing vibe. I got in trouble at school in terms of like just always the class clown or just not taking things too serious, but I always loved my art. And obviously having a twin sister always kind of like pushed me to not be as good as her at like academic stuff, but kind of be different and stand on my own 2 feet, you know. So having that kind of like just that support gave me the confidence to just to create from early. I kind of always knew I was going to land into this. I mean, my mum would say to me, like, you know, when he was younger, he wanted to be a priest. And if you know me now, that's out of the question.
You do preach, but in a different kind of way.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm a Christian and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And like, you know, that's in store for me, you know, from a West Indian family.
True.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, so I had to go to church every Sunday, forced up. But you know what, that taught me good morals, which had later impacts of me being here today. Not getting into any trouble, and at the same time, you know, it's kind of like I kind of wanted to focus my energy and creativity in one piece, you know. So I mean, I wanted to be a vet. I wanted to be for some reason, like
really,
yeah, man, a vet. I wanted to be like a snooker player, like all these sort of things, but I didn't know drawing was a job.
Yeah.
Until I found out later, and I said, yeah, man, I just want to be an artist.
This is your thing.
That's my thing, bro.
So when do you think that was? Not like an early telltale sign, but when do you think you really started to think that could be something that could actually make you?
I think there was a couple of boys in my year 6 class, young. His name was Ulysses and Brian Parry.
Do you still know?
Yeah, bro. Like, he reached out to me the other day. I was like, right, like literally, he found me on Instagram. And he's like, oh yeah, remember back in the day. But we always used to like battle it out at school, like to be like the best drawer. And Ulysses was number 1, Brian was number 2, and I was like number 3. You know what I mean? I was humble then, innit? But they might have to switch it up a bit as well. And that kind of like pushed me. So if they drew something like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like I would want to draw it, and I want to colour it a different way, kind of thing. So that competitive side was always there, but channeled in a sort of arts. Most kids would do it like football or like sports, but mine was just like the hunger to be an artist. So that's always like kind of been there, and I think from early stage, like that's the kind of level of competition I wanted to take into business. And obviously studied at secondary school, just did a bit of art, smashed that, got an A, Then moved to university to study like illustration and graphic design. But the point when I actually wanted to make this into a career was when I was like in my first year, and I kind of wanted to sell artwork. So I sold some artwork on eBay, and I must have got like 60 quid for like a piece that took me like 15 minutes to draw. Okay. And that's when I realised there's money in creativity. Yeah? Yeah, man.
So that was your... When was that happen then? 2000 and...
Oh, man, 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, 2009. So, but 10 years... not 9 years ago, 10 years ago. It's funny one, actually. It was my boy Tom. He used to live with me and 7 other guys. It was funny because I would be just like drawing this thing, and he said to me, you should sell it on eBay. I was like, what? This is when eBay was new, innit? And that's when like, people went selling artwork. So I was like, all right, cool. So we did it, we put it up, sold it for £60. And he's like, I told you. I was like, oh shit, that's actually quite a good like idea. So then I started selling stuff on eBay, like artwork, making like 200 quid a week. Yeah, man, and that like as a student, that's decent. You know what I mean? Like
200 quid a week, dude. For some people actually working, that's it.
200 quid a week. I used to every Sunday. I used to run back from what I was doing. Run back to we made this like little studio at the back of my room.
Okay.
With all the artwork and stuff like that. And big up the boys. They didn't care. Like all my art stuff were there. So I used to run back, do this artwork, and put it up before 9 o'clock on a Sunday because I knew it was peak time. Let it run for a week. And then that week, the next Sunday, there was money in my account, and that allowed me to really like pay my own student debt, use that to go out and stuff like that, and not really actually have a part-time job as much as I needed.
Well, you did, but you were actually monetizing your own idea from early. Yeah, so you were already used to not even like doing a project or making something and then having like not a price put on it, but some people are very precious or particular. Yeah. Especially now, I guess. You know, some people might actually have artwork in their house that's really good that they've drawn or painted, and they just put it in the garage, or it just stays behind the cupboard.
You know what? That's the thing. Like, I didn't really see the value of my own artwork until other people had said sell this, because like deep down, like I'd produce something and not like it within half an hour, but then that value's still in that air for other people to think that's sick. So I had to learn how to like just forget what I think and just do what other people would like. I used to say, do it for the fans. You know what I mean? Just do things just because I don't want to do it for the fans, innit? Yeah. So that's the kind of like mentality I had to get into like really early. And that proved like a good philosophy moving forward. Because if I was so precious about things wouldn't go out. Because I'd be just like, I just want to get it perfect.
You'd sit on it all the time.
Yeah. And like, you know like that's the things where you hear like Van Gogh and all them, man, like the artists making money after they
died, after they passed,
like that's because they're precious about it, and they didn't want the world to see their stuff. And I said to you the other week, it's selfish. Like it's selfish on your behalf because if you make other people happy and you're just hiding it, like let the world see your stuff and make them happy. Give them spread that joy, man.
But it's almost what you would want anybody that has any creative purpose, and that stretches to everybody. Everybody has a unique skill or a gift or a way in which they can actually share how they see something, because it's your vision of it, isn't it? Yeah. It's like your interpretation of something, your take on something. So everybody's is going to be different. Yeah. But it's not precious in a sense of you don't want to share it with anyone, but not keeping it and not sharing it. I think, like you said, it's almost a crime, isn't it?
Man, it is like, and I mean that can go to anything. That's like even if you're an actor or a singer, like if you're a singer, like why the hell aren't you singing like covers, like 10 covers a week, posting them on YouTube and let the world see your voice, or hear your voice, or if you're an actor, like
if it's YouTube, see as well.
There's like SCC and podcasts as well. And the same with just like if you're an actor, there's all these influencers now that are creating little skits on Instagram. Like if you want to be an actor, like just be consistent and don't worry about the likes and stuff like that. Just get your stuff out there because someone's going to see it.
Somebody will see it.
You know what I mean? And if you think you're good at it, it's selfish at the fact that you're not sharing it with people. It's selfish.
I like the perspective there.
Yeah, it's true.
It's you're almost making me feel a little bit guilty about hiding what I've made or what anybody could have made.
But I don't know, it's different because you've always put your stuff out there. So like you're a DJ and like you're an MC, so you've always put your soul out there. You've always put your music, your skill out there for the world to see. You've got fans yourself. The fact that you're channeling in it now with stuff like this, the podcast, and the fact that you're channel it now with making your own beats. That's just stages for you. Like, you're used to it. Like, you could just be sitting there and just like 9 to 5 job, go home, eat your like food, and it's like go sleep. You know what I mean? Watch Netflix and go sleep. But you're out here doing the thing.
I tried that. I couldn't do it. There was a frustration that built up over time.
Yeah.
And it manifested in an ugly way. But
really?
It was a telltale sign for that. That's not supposed to be for you. I used to look at all these things I could never get when I was working. Not in a regularity sense, but doing what we all could do, what was immediately accessible, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting promotions for things, or I wasn't moving a step ahead of something. There was always something that it felt like wasn't allowing me to make that step forward, right? And now I'm grateful for the knock and the frustration, because it was almost like, you know, people speak cosmically. It's like, oh, you know, the universe needs other things. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it, you have a belief, you don't have a belief. I'm not here to challenge that. All I'm saying is it didn't work out because it wasn't supposed to work out. That wasn't supposed to be where I was supposed to be.
But I don't know, Kobe, because like you've always maintained a kind of like consistent plan. Even when I like knew you in Southampton, you think about what you've done. You was at Apple before Apple was a thing. Yeah, top dog. Everyone respected you. Bam. Yeah, he sorted me out with my first ever laptop.
I do remember that actually. Yeah. You didn't break and you had to like race down.
Yeah, bro.
From where did you go? Did you come from here?
From Southampton to London.
On the coach.
Yeah. Actually, no, vice versa. Yeah. On the coach, bro. That's all I could afford.
And there was like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
A shot like being open left, and you're like, I need this one. I was like,
yeah.
I remember.
So you were in that field anyway, and then you did your DJing with Bitrate. You know what I mean? Killing it, getting known. Then you transitioned to Spain, Ibiza, MCing. So you've always been on that steady path, innit? So for you to say your dips, like that actually shows how much high standard of levels that you have for yourself. Because no one's noticed it. This is you.
True. But it's the same with you making what you make.
Yeah.
You're the only one that knows the bits you're not a fan of.
Exactly. I mean, I've been lucky and fortunate that obviously my business partner Alex, who I went to university with, he's always like pushed me, and I've always pushed him. You know, and it's to the point where like we can actually have that open dialogue, where like if we feel ourselves slipping, we'll let each other know. So on paper, we look consistent, but actually we are consistent because we're just pushing each other and keeping ourselves sort of buoyant. And no, we need that. You have to show consistency.
Absolutely. So we have a little bit of an insight there. So you've taking yourself from having early influences and having competition, so almost always having that creative spirit. Yeah. And that was always encouraged, or you were encouraging in other people, they were actively encouraging that in you. So you've had that growing up steadily. And then you said you met Alex, your business partner, whilst you were at uni. And uni was kind of where you monetized it. So you went from having it as a almost like not even like a skill, but you know when you were at school and people had the thing that they did. I used to make mixtapes, but not like mixtape was like mixtape, not on a tape, man. Like everyone needed a CD burner. Like, what was it? What you wanted for your birthday? I was like, oh, I need a CD burner. I need a burner drive in my laptop or in my computer. And dude, man, I used to put all the mixes together. People like all
I need to get a copy of that, bro. I'm being sick.
Like when Ja Rule and Ashanti and all that other stuff was kind of like on the pop, everybody was in, and then the form room in the morning was right above like where the buses would pull in. So we'd open the window and turn up whatever we just downloaded like yesterday, cranked up on this little like Maxell like boombox, but it had no low end. It was just tinny. But if you got it at the right volume, it would bounce off. You'd bounce off the brickery. So people would come out and be like, "Oh, what's that?" And then, do you know what I mean? They'd come up to the form room. They'd be like, "Oh my god, you did this." Led to house parties, all those other things. But it was always kind of there.
Kirby, you've been fucking raving from day.
It was always kind of there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's a similar thing to, obviously you got it a lot younger, but people had these things that they did when we were younger. I don't think we were really aware that not saying that they weren't things you could use to have influence or power or just to be but it made you, right?
Yeah. But do you know what? I'll tell you what, there's other things as well. So I was the first one ever to bring in a yo-yo to my secondary school.
Get out.
Bruv. I remember a yo-yo, you know that phenomenon? Actually, no, let's even go back. I was the first one to bring in a Tamagotchi to my school, right? First one, and then everyone was like, what's that? And I was like, I found this in some French, when we went to a school trip, and there was a service station. Saw this little thing. It was a Tamagotchi. It wasn't an official Tamagotchi. It was a thing. We had to look after a dog. Blah blah blah. So I had that, and literally, me and my boy bought one. Everyone's asking what the hell was that. Then it came out, and then everyone had the Tamagotchi wave. But my dad, I was like onto the next thing, And at secondary school, I was the first one to have a yo-yo, right? So I was practicing all the tricks and stuff like that. And I swear to God, I had like literally about 15 people around me watching me do these like basic tricks and stuff like that, to the point where everyone started buying yo-yos, and then that wave continued. So I always kind of like found myself like that kind of like just kid that finds that kind of abstract thing that I find pleasure in, make it relevant, make it like fucking cool, because I didn't care about what
it
people
looked
thought
like.
me. I didn't care, like, you know what I mean? I wasn't a geek, I wasn't like just a nerd, I was just like just a fun kid kind of thing. And the fact that I was, again, giving people joy of showing my tricks, or like showing people like, this is my Tamagotchi kind of thing, from young, that's always been like instilled in me kind of thing. So it's all about just getting on the wave and then making it your own, and not having inspiration, you know what I mean, and just doing your thing. So it's been like that. Even graffiti as well. Yeah. First one in my school to do graffiti. I made that cool when everyone started doing graffiti.
Is it a safe thing to announce now?
Yeah. Man, like,
has it been washed off the walls?
Yeah. It was. Oh man, I had to stop before I got myself into trouble. Yeah. But little things like that, just like, once I find something, I get obsessed with it, and I need to know I have to be like the best at it if it's something different, so I can be like the pioneer of it. And you can even call that now like part of the journey now. So like the style that like I've created for Studio BLUP, and it's propelled us to sort of a next level, because we're not copying anyone, we're inventing something, you know what I mean? We set the tone, so that kind of all relates, you know, we want to create something new.
I've always looked at social, I wouldn't say social feeds, but there are brands, and I'm starting to look a lot less at individuals, not because I don't think the content's relevant or I don't think it's good, it's just you want to kind of try and put yourself in a position where you're not doing something someone else's, or it just looks and is presented in a way that's also authentic to you. It kind of, you just want it to have value, right? You want it to be able to be looked at and actually assessed or viewed the way that you kind of wanted to put it out there. So for you to say that you're doing things that are so fresh, every time I scroll through and I see something posted from your personal site or from the company or the design company, I haven't really talked about it, but we'll get into that. I'm always interested as to the workings behind how it got to that point. Like I started to think about something backwards. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. So
I look at it and I'm like, I think about, how have you? Because I think I saw maybe one or two of your artworks, or where you've done like animations with something, and I've watched you do it, and then you've had like live talks and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just interested as to how you use that moving element and that sort of abstract sort of Art Deco, but then it's like futuristic, comic-y, and then it's a bit sort of manga Japanese. It's so many different cultures, and you've kind of just made it all fit like a really, really, really abstract jigsaw puzzle. That's amazing.
I mean, cheers, bruv. And I think just even with that, the style that, you know, it's kind of got us to where it is, it's deep down to me. It's my interest, isn't it? So it's like the colours, the pop art, like the freshness, the vibes, and even going back to like being the first. I remember when my fiance, she told me that Instagram were going to do videos. So instantly I said, Alex, we got to start animating our artwork. And he's like, yeah, well, okay. We don't know any motion designers. So we trained up our designer to become a motion designer, to take our work to the next level and be known as like turning the artwork into motion, but only like 5 seconds, you know? And I remember actually that went hand in hand with, we was doing a live talk in Barcelona. And at the end of it, everyone was high-fiving, saying that was a sick talk, blah, blah. And I had this one guy come up to me, went, yeah, the talk was alright, but just looking at stills is a bit boring. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I just wanted to see a bit more like energy and bass. And from that point on, from all the praises we got, from that one guy that gave his opinion, I was like, bam, you're right. Like, because if I listened to everyone else, we would still be doing...
It'd be same.
It'd be same.
It wouldn't evolve.
We just mix it up. So like, it's all about listening to others and picking out the sort of like the positive and negative feedback, you know, and improving on it.
Yeah. So you saw that as an opportunity to become different. You saw it as an opportunity to grow, to change again.
Exactly.
So you know, the majority of people were saying that they praise the work because your energy as an individual is gonna make you stand out anyway. The way you deliver something, because it's coming from a genuine place, it's always gonna be accepted. I say it's a lot easier to digest. Do you know what I mean? But then you're already looking for somebody that didn't see it that way.
Yeah. and listening to them.
And listening, because that perspective allowed you to grow.
And the thing is, bruv, like for me, there's no ego. Like on the surface, like it's all like confident and stuff like that. But with me, like I listen, and like there's no ego in terms of if someone says it's shit, I'll be like, why is this shit?
Yeah.
And explain to me, like, and then I ain't gonna take that to heart. You know what I mean? But
they're entitled to an opinion about something.
Exactly. And I always had the philosophy of 70% of people probably hate our work, but there's 30% that love BLUP. I'm gonna serve them, and always having that, because if you think you're the best, like that's when you're setting yourself up to fail, innit? And you're never gonna strive to become the best.
So you think that by thinking you're the best one, you almost get sucked into, it's kind of like a black hole, isn't it? Because you're not really paying attention then to what's happening around you. Not to say that you're doing what is there, but you're not staying on the beat. You're not being present in what's actually happening in your environment.
Agreed.
All right. So as far as BLUP then, how did that come about? So you met Alex.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So BLUP, just break it down quickly. So Alex was my best mate at uni. I started Studio BLUP in my second year, again, because the momentum was there before. Let me just start a business in the second year to make a little bit of money on the side. And then, so we graduated, and then Alex done a master's on myself, like on dying Studio BLUP, like it's mental. And he got a distinction, top mark.
Sorry, wait, bring it back.
Yeah.
He used you, for a thesis? For his masters.
And his masters was design management. Mental, wasn't it?
Oh, wow.
Out of all the subjects in the world, he was like, I'm writing a story on Studio BLUP. I'll write my thesis on Studio BLUP. And I was like, right, you guys, I just got a few questions. Can I sit down with you? I was like, yeah, cool, man. Like, how did you start? And what's your inspiration? Why did you do this? Like, because he's doing design business. So anyway, so he smashed that. And then I was thinking, wow, like this guy, like he's actually invested in like me. Like one, he's my boy, but two, he's actually genuinely interested in like design. So I remember we was in Brighton, and we sat down over a bottle of wine. I said to him, brother, let's just become business partners before you get snapped up, because he's a clever guy. You know what I mean? Like he's a clever guy, and like I needed. Look, deep down, I'm an artist, man. Like, and you know, I was getting paid, and I was going out, going wild, and not really saving. I was making good money in Southampton because the rent was cheap. But for me, there was no like future. I was just building up a profile, or I was just building up just like, oh yeah, everyone knows Dines' work, blah blah. And I think at that point, I was like, I need to make this a business. And that originally stemmed from a guy called Gary Benetton, who owned Orange Rooms.
Hello, Gary.
Yeah, big up Gary. Sat me down and literally said, I need you to become a business so then I can invoice the work that you're doing for me as a company, and I can get cheaper rates because you're a company. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. He goes, just think of a name. I was like, okay, cool. Went back, said, okay, can I call it Studio BLUP? He's like, yeah, cool, whatever. And that's how it literally started, just because Gary wanted to save a little bit of money. And as an entrepreneur, Gary, like obviously an inspiration back in the day as well, still is. Like for him to realise that from a young kid, and like
just to drop a little seed on you as well.
Yeah,
and it just grew.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, like instead of being just an individual, I can actually pretend to be a company. So get Alex on board, and he can like do all the management and stuff like that, and then it becomes a legit company rather than just an individual artist.
Do you think in your mind that things changed for you when you decided to make that? Because obviously it's a change for both of you on the business side of things, as far as what it looked like. But do you think subconsciously you also accepted a change then? Do you think it became a bit more real after that point?
Yeah, I think it made me think bigger. So imagine like you're an individual and you think, where can I take myself? And then it's like, okay, you have a gallery and you make a lot of money, but is that it? When you think about, okay, where can I take the business, you're changing people's lives there. Because one, you can help brands grow. One, you can make really good money. And two, you can like actually employ people, you know, which changes their life. And at the same time, like that has a bigger aspect. You can actually say, I want to work in America. I want to build this. I want to build that. And that gives you a bigger perspective. And because of that, that kind of, it just made me want to have that hunger. To look after people, to grow a brand, rather than think about myself. And that's luckily I had that sort of mindset from early on.
Good man.
Early on, love.
That's wicked, man. Genuinely is. So we're currently now set the scene. I like coming to whoever I'm going to be talking to. I'm currently sat in your studio.
Yeah.
Cleaners keep walking up and down.
I love the cleaners.
Just dragging a few bits
They're
around.
safe.
I don't love the fact they took the milk though.
Oh my god, Kirby. You were fuming as well.
I was so excited, but you genuinely looked like she'd taken the plug or the fuse or something.
Man, like it killed me because literally it's a brand. Basically, these little pods.
What are they?
It's Nespresso pods. Yeah.
Ooh, what is it? A machine?
It's a machine, bruv. And then like.
Oh, is that the top of it?
Yeah.
All right.
And then bought a load of milk pods. Like 20 quid for 10. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And she throws it away.
We had espressos, if you need to know, so we'll probably start lifting in about 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? So, you've had this wicked adventure, you've created something that's here that people can visibly go and see, touch, feel, or they can connect with you at talks that you do. You're very, very involved in the up and coming design or creative sort of window. So there are a lot of people out there now that might have listened to you or come to a talk because they're in tune with what you want to give back to them. A lot of companies, a lot of designers, a lot of people that have not necessarily a value or respect, but a lot of people that have influence don't necessarily always give back to that system.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of the stem things for the podcast for wanting it to exist, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about how people can find that inspiration or that not even find the creativity, they have it already, but how can they turn that into something that feeds and nourishes them in a way that makes them a more complete person? Yeah? Mm-hmm. So we might have houses, cars, marriages, whatever. And I don't think there's ever going to be a point where people are actually going to be at a point where that's not something they can improve.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
So if there's someone out there that's lying dormant and they're not doing the thing that made them happy and they stop for whatever reason, a person, a thing, a place, a time, a mind space.
Yeah.
I want to try and help them get out of that window. So if you're already very active in being able to actually share all that now. Yeah. But was there ever a point where you didn't want this? Was there ever a point, really and truly, because there's always going to be a window where we have a little bit of a rock or a rocky patch.
Yeah.
Was there a point for you where you were just like, I don't know if this is going to work?
Yeah. I mean, that only came like literally 4 years ago. Just moved to London on the back of like the success we had in Southampton, and being a little bit naive just because I'm from London, thinking London was like home and London was like cheap because that's how I knew it. So Alex and I moved the business to London, and it was literally like we invested everything, bruv. Like we were paying rent, which is expensive. We was going out, meeting new people was expensive. Food was expensive. Like even getting a business card was expensive, to the point where we invested so much money that we had nothing left. And because we would do work, and it would take 60 days for a client to pay. Like it was mental. So I think I always, luckily I did it, because thank God I did, was like I took a picture of my last £20 note, and I was like, looked at it and I said, is this all worth it? Like I'm literally broke. I'm in magazines, like I'm getting literally like the success is like there on paper, but we had nothing in our bank, like overdraft and minus. So I took a picture of 20 quid and I said, like, this cannot happen again. This can't happen again, because end of the day, money is everything, because that creates freedom to create art or create whatever you need to do. If you're making money from what you do, it allows you to have that confidence to produce better. And I felt we've given everything and I'm broke. So that moment when I took the picture, I was just like, this is going to change. And it did.
When was that? It's about 4 years ago.
Yeah, so this whole kind of, 4 years ago, when I was like, okay, how can I get to the stage I need to get to the stage? I need to stay consistent. This is before social media, bruv. This is before Instagram was a thing. Like, this is before Instagram was like popping off. So I was like, okay, so I need to build a network, all right? I need to go out there for a reason now. It's all good like going out talking to people, but I need to talk to people that actually have money. And I need to like start shouting about the work we're doing, all right? So I made a choice to actually like go out, tell people about what I do, build out that network, but not being needy. Yeah, not being like, oh, this is what I do, please use me. you have to have a little bit of that edge, a little bit of that swag, because people come to people that they're comfortable with, innit? So when I realised that that was a kind of secret, I had to up my levels, bruv. So I was out every night. Just anywhere I went, I had to make sure I spoke to someone, whether it's the manager, the promoter, the business owner, building that connection. And little did I know, like a year later, those people were coming back to me for work.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's when the work started mounting and stuff like that.
So at that point where you were questioning what you'd done and how much you put into it, and that's a story that you're always gonna remember, because it felt the same way that it sounded. Like I was like, well, I didn't do this.
Yeah.
You know, but it's something that you're not really, so you're not going to share with people. But this is again one of the reasons why I wanted to do this.
It's reality, bro.
Yeah, people. We all need to understand that there is always going to be like, it's almost like the breaking point, isn't it?
But I used to like, it got so bad. My flatmates know this now, but I was taking care of the electricity bill at our house. We're sharing with 5 guys, right? Plus me and Alex and 3 other guys. It got to the point where it was red, and like I used to hide from them that it was paid. So their money was in the account, fair play. But Alex and I had no money to pay the bill. So like it was like, fuck, what are we gonna do, innit? To the point where we let it get to reds before anyone else found out, and then by the grace of God, the money came in and we would pay it. I remember literally there was a bailiff at the door. No one actually knows it. It's like exclusive content. Like the door knocks, and it's just like fuck. And there's literally electrician bailiff saying like, we've given you red letters that you need to pay up now, and you have to pay up for the full year. And luckily, we just got paid by a client, and we just paid the year up in full. But it got that deep that we had 0 cash. You know what I mean? That's when I was even looking at the £20. I was thinking, wow,
That's crazy.
But you look at you hear stories like that all the time, like Ed Sheeran and Skepta, or like musicians sleeping on couches. It wasn't that bad, but it could have been.
It could have been,
because I just wanted to follow our dream.
There's a certain level of risk. I'm not recommending anybody doesn't pay their bills.
Don't trust me, especially when you live with 5 guys. Let's say, why is this paid?
There's a lot of electricity. There's a lot of laptops to power. You know.
But big up the flatmates, because obviously they don't know that. But like, those are the things that make us, you know. And ever since then, I've made sure I've looked after them, because if it weren't for them and their support, we wouldn't be where they were. So
lessons, in essence.
Don't live with nines.
You say you're engaged now, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. That's left me skin.
Yeah.
So, not joking.
Big wedding, yeah? Big wedding?
Yeah, big wedding. You know what, at the end of the day, look, it's like, I've always wanted to have like a family and stuff like that, and have someone that's been there from the beginning. Like, she doesn't know I was that brass. I was broke, because the funny thing is, like, I had to put on a persona that I had money. Like, I had enough to take her out on nice dates and stuff like that. In my head, I had money, like, but not as I was like perceiving, you know. So I had to kind of like sell her the dream to get me. You know what I mean? Because like, if it wasn't for your sister, I wouldn't be raising that.
She said this to me.
Yeah,
she said this to me, and then I don't want to come here and be like, but she still claims that she.
Nah, it was her. It was her, man. It was her. So like, because of like her support, I've always wanted to like just make her know she made the right option. So I put the question, gave her a sick ring. I saw. I mean, like, she's not about the bling, but I am.
Blinded.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through my newsfeed. I was like, woo.
Yeah.
Hello.
So like, because you know, it's one of those things where you spoil a girl that doesn't ask for much. She doesn't ask for much. So the wedding's coming up, bruv, and it's going to be like good. But I'm interested to see where this takes me, because this is a new chapter of my life. Whereas before I was doing this for myself, then doing it for ego purposes. Now this might be for a family thing. You know
changes, what I mean? And then you've got you haven't just got people or other things to consider, but your responsibilities. I guess your priorities change as well. Not that you wouldn't ever still be the same creative individual, but I guess because your perspective would look different, this might all start to look different, and it will probably never really impact you in a negative way because of how you've experienced things in the past and what you know about yourself. So I feel like when you get to, not say you get to a certain age, but I think once you reach a kind of level where, I guess when your business was changing, you had somebody with you who was very understanding about how that's not going to look like a normal timetable, right? Or that's not, you're not going to be doing what not an average person would do. It sounds like I'm kind of like classing people away from anyone, but you don't do something everybody does, and in doing so, that also means your habits are very irregular. They're very similar as far as like you probably got principles that you abide by daily, but your day's 17 hours long as far as work, and some other people's days might be 9 hours with a couple of hours travel. Some of them might be shorter. Some of them could even be longer, but it's done in a very unique way. But you obviously have to spend time trying to figure out what that balance is.
Bro, so that the balance is probably the hardest one was because, you know, even when I was with Zena, it was like 2 years deep and stuff like that, and I was giving my everything. I kind of felt like, you know, I was like maybe neglecting that relationship. But I remember we was going to a concert once, and like just before we went to, I think it was Pretty Ricky or something like that, with Drew Hill. And I said to her, I said to Zena, like, listen, I want this to happen for both of us, yeah. But what that means is going to be a lot of sacrifices, and you're probably going to see me 40% less than what you're seeing me now. I just want to be clear to you that this is like the movement that I have to make. This means I'm going to be at the studio till late. This means I'm going to be traveling around Europe or whatever, and doing things and not 100% concentrate on our relationship. This means whilst you're watching the movie, I'm on my laptop trying to get work done. But this is all for the end goal, because the end goal obviously is for both of us. And please have the patience to stick with me, because I'm not a 9 to 5 guy. If I was, this wouldn't be here. Same with Alex. He's got his wife as well, and we both had to put 100% in, and we had to sacrifice. But that wouldn't have, if we didn't have the support of our friends, families, and partners.
You have to believe in what you believe in.
You have to, and you have to take that. But it was all about the communication.
Definitely.
Before the communication broke down, because if the communication breaks down,
it's hard.
You're finished.
To rekindle, get that back on a level. It's more energy, and you don't have that time. Well, you had a good run, or you were in a very good momentum. Let's say you kind of outlined some things that could change, it could affect it, but you reassuring her, just communicating clearly that that's not a forever, and you also know, and again with my interpretation of you and how you see things is that you kind of have an idea for this market, and you can see where things are going to come. So if I put a little bit more time into this window, it's going to be something that we could almost walk away and say that we had a bigger influence on. Yeah. And that's where you want to be, isn't it? Especially in a creative environment, you want to be the individuals or the team or the gang or the designer that's did it first and did it their way. I agree. Because everything else then is imitation, right?
So I'll tell you what, Gary, it's like, and you hit the nail on the head. You know, I'm a designer, but does this like subconsciously mean I'm designing my own life? Yeah, so it's kind of like this journey. I know there is an end, and it's just like if I've got the power to design on the computer, I've got the power to like do the things that I need to do to get me to this point, and every step I do, this or people I meet, it's going to have a knock-on effect. So if I'm sick at design or forward thinking and creating stuff out of nowhere, I can create my own life. Easy. Because that's the way it has to be programmed, because some people get lost, some people take the wrong advice, some people go down the wrong paths. But if you stick to truly what you believe in and go with that gut instinct and go with that real I want, then the path takes you to where you need to be. It will end up good in the end. Yeah? Sometimes.
You had to put a little disclaimer in
sometimes
at the end. Sometimes. Do you recall having any particular point where you had to learn that lesson, where you had to trust your instinct, you had to trust that gut feeling? I think a lot of us misplace it sometimes for actually feeling ill, or it can be that powerful that it can actually make you sick. Yeah. If you've gone against that in a way, if you thought logical thinking sometimes is going to prevail, but when it comes to doing things that don't have rule books, no one taught you how to do this, you molded this for yourself, you tried things repeatedly throughout time, and it became more clear that it could be done this way, and then you take a step further, right? Yeah. So how do you get yourself out of, also how did you get yourself out of positions where you'd gone the wrong way? Did it feel wrong to you? Did it block you creatively? Did it make things harder?
Yeah.
And was it easy for you to then go, I'm not doing that again?
I think making mistakes is like a number one thing that we've learned. Well, I've learned personally. Like, it sounds well like arrogant, but like I hardly ever make mistakes because I'm a logical thinker, innit? So I kind of think. So if I walk into a room and I meet someone, I get from whatever gift I've got, like I can judge them within 2 seconds. Like if this person's safe, what they're about, how do I talk to them? I can adapt to how them. So if this guy is an egomaniac, like let him be an egomaniac to me. I don't care. Like let him show off to me because deep down he's like, oh, this guy's alright. You know what I mean? Because I get that. Or if a guy's shy, I let them have fun. You know what I mean? So for me, to avoid mistakes, I read a situation first before it happens. And if I feel like it's not quite right or it's not quite working, I tweak it so it's working within my favour. If you know what I mean. For example, we nearly lost a lot of money with a deal. It was a deal for like a sport brand. And
that you can't name.
Yeah, I can't name. And like, it was literally like a point where like we gave so much energy to it and time and stuff like that, and we were dealing with an absolute nightmare guy, right? And his ego was there, and like he was like the big I am, and I didn't know about his reputation. So because I didn't know about his reputation, I treated him like he was normal. But then I had to read what he's about, right? And as soon as I read what he's about, I changed the situation from potentially losing a lot of money to actually him giving us more work, because I was just like, let's just see what this guy's about. Kind of like lick his ass a little bit, you know what I mean? But also give him the respect so he can give you the respect back because you're good. So it's all about just reading situations, man, like and building on it, man.
So it sounds like you had to learn something. You made an error, or you made a good judgment, but you had the foresight to kind of be like, this doesn't feel right with you. And that's one of those things, it's you trusting your gut and your instinct on this, and you didn't take other people's opinions on board about some individual. And that, I think, can be quite important when it comes to doing things in the creative nature, because you're saying that you're willing to actually try and engage with that person in a way that they'll connect with you. A lot of people won't do that. They'll kind of go in on...
Is it called emotional intelligence? It's that.
Yeah.
It is that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's like easy to like learn that. It's easy to kind of trying to understand. It's this whole thing about like body language and how they're sitting. And that's I think that's bullshit, man. It's just like, how do you give that person the platform so that they feel good around you? And it's not a trick, it's not a thing, it's just how humans should be interacting with humans. There should be no clash of ego, there should be no, like with you, man, every time I see you, like, you're just full of vibes and stuff like that, because that's natural, and you're just happy, you're a happy guy, you know, and it's just like, and that's the people like I fucking hang around with, innit? So if I'm hanging around with someone that's depressed, like, that's going to radiate off the other person I'm going to meet, because I'm depressed, because that guy's pissed me off. I've cut them people out. So everything that around me is this buzzing. So then I don't make those mistakes or meet those wrong sort of people. I attract those people to me. It's simple, man.
I love that, man. So if there's somebody out there now, if anybody is not, say, thinking about pursuing something, because you're not an individual case, but I think some people, and I say this, that people don't really understand sometimes that it's never too late to be the thing you were supposed to be. Yeah? I don't think there's a time like limit on something. And I actually listened to a podcast on the way here.
Did you?
Yeah, and sometimes like the greatest lie ever told to athletes, and people like, Limitless Potential. And I think this guy was coming from a sports side. He's like, I tell every athlete that they're capable of anything, but they're obviously already in professional sport. But that mindset that might help them get an extra 25% out of their sprint speed, or that might help them with a mental edge on something is obviously going to help, whatever. But you still have to be in a sort of mind frame for that to actually work. But he was saying that he doesn't fully believe in that people have this limitless capability or capacity to be able to do something. but he likes the fact that he'd entertain that so that people would like deliver a bigger result. He's like, sometimes you have to tell a lie to do something, and I agree with a sentiment, but I do not like that at all, because I feel like you're actively hindering something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're putting your own block and you're saying, oh, you could say it. It's like people have posters of stuff like, dream, believe, achieve.
Yeah.
Cool, but then like, do you actually have a plan behind that? So if there's anything, if we could sit down now and we're gonna not say craft that or inspire someone to do something, but like you did, you set up a little space at home if you have this space. But what would you say to someone to get them back in a like creative vibe, if that's something that they were always carrying and wanted to do, whether it's stitching pieces of cotton together, customizing jackets and t-shirts, doing their own custom prints, opening up like a little Etsy shop, like what would you say?
I think like the first of all is it's everyone is good at something.
True.
And so it takes like someone who's in a higher position than you are to tell you that you're good at it, right? To give you that confidence to try it. So obviously I do that with all my friends, like even do it with you, like I've done it with I've done it with everyone to say like, you're sick at this. This is what I love about you. Like you should turn this into a thing, like, or just on the side, So I think if you're like an artist or a designer or a motion designer, your work should be getting out there. It doesn't matter how rubbish you are, because there's going to be someone that loves your work. Yeah, you're going to find an audience, right? But the key is like you have to have the patience. You have to have the patience and stay consistent. Same with if you're a musician. Same with if you're like a footballer, anything, actor. Like the reason why people get depressed is because they're expecting results straight away, right? And you've got to find what you're good at. So like you said, if you love like stitching, like stitch. Don't just like stitch it and then put it in the cupboard and oh, that's good. Like if you want to make money from it or make fame from it or be known as the stitch guy, the crochet guy, like take a picture and put it on your Instagram or set up a whole new Instagram, market it, try it. You don't have to be good at it. Like just put it out there. Because I had a thing, right, where a whole universe thing. It's all about like putting your shit out there, yeah. And I was doing this before I even knew this about The Secret and this whole hype of like believe whatever and it'll come true. No, ain't that. You do it, and if you keep doing it, it's gonna happen, because it's gonna have knock-on effects. Yeah. But it's taken me 10 years. That
domino effect. I think that was in a book. Is it the Gary Keller? Is that the one thing he's talking about? You start a chain of like momentum.
Yeah.
So all of those events, they're not. They're sequential. They're not like instantaneous. They all happen at the same time. It's like one and then and it picks up speed.
And the thing is that like, I mean, some people haven't got the confidence, like, you know what I mean? And some people haven't got the chat to network. And like, I totally understand that. But, there are like influencers out there who can't even speak a word of English, but they're just known for being good. So like, it takes cheerleaders, like your friends, to promote for you. Of
course.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, you will find what you're good at. It will happen. And it doesn't matter if you're 65, doesn't matter if you're like 18, you're 14, whatever. There is something. And it will change as you go along, and you will adapt. But trust me, everyone's good at something.
I like that. Everybody is good at something.
That's not really a groundbreaking
saying, but like, I think it's different to see it.
I personally think that.
Or to hear it from people in different walks of life. You see it from people at the top of a food chain. I'm not saying you're not, but like you see it from people on stages, celebrities, endorsements, charity events, and all these other bits and pieces. But we've just had a very honest and open conversation about being in positions that people probably don't see or think you might have been in. And I think it's really important for us to kind of create that transparency, that level of reality for people that, some of the feelings that we've had about how we do things and how we think about stuff had the same ones. You know what I mean? Bill worries, relationship worries, being in positions where you are stuck, as a tight situation, you can make it out of them.
And the thing is, like, Kirby, like, even just sitting here, you're going to look back in 10 years' time, literally, on another platform, being the number one presenter in the UK, in the world, and that's the thing, because like I've just thrown it out there for you, you know what I mean? And it's just like every step now that you're gonna do is for that extra goal. And like, you don't set yourself like a time frame. You just say like, this is what's gonna happen. But again, it will happen. I remember, right? Mum still got a magazine, and there's Computer Arts magazine. In the middle page, there's like a studio, right? And this is when I was at my first year, and I saved that magazine, and I said, I want a studio like that. I want a studio like that. Like, we're sitting in exactly the same setup I saw in that magazine. Yeah,
seriously,
it's mental. And like, the picture was like all artwork on the wall. Everything was like black and white. Like, there was people working for it. Like, this is when I was just in my bedroom in Southampton. Like, I lived in a mouldy bedroom above a pizza shop.
Was that above the
Domino's? Yeah, Domino's Pizza, yeah.
I remember that.
And like, thinking I want this one day from a magazine, and it happened 8 years later. Yeah, so this shit happens, man. It happens. Trust me, like, it happens. Even if you start at 30 and you're 40 and it happens, trust me, it will happen.
And it's so worth it to do, isn't it? Because the whole way through now, you're looking back at the things that happened and the order that they happened in.
Yeah.
And you're actually thinking, I'm grateful for all of that. Because it makes this look the way it looks, the way it tastes now, the way it feels. There's a confidence you have in your ability. You're able to deliver at a much higher competency level now than you were before.
I couldn't get any lower. So we've both seen rock bottom. And like, Alex's parents, they've got cash, like, you know what I mean? His dad's a successful businessman, but he didn't want any money. Like, he wants to prove to his dad that he can do it himself. Like, I could have easily asked my mum, like, she just retired, I could ask my mum, like, oh mum, can you like bail me out for that? Like, I'll go into the red. I've been at rock bottom, and I know what it feels like. So every step, every day is a bonus for me, thinking I'm not going to ever get to that stage.
Yeah.
Probably I will get to that stage if I've invested big, or I've put it all online and lost. But we'll cross that bridge when that comes.
And I don't really feel like you feel like a loser.
What I've realised now, since I'm turned 32, is that I can actually become like the best at anything I put my mind, or good at something. For example, like, say football, right?
Okay.
Like, football, I was alright like at school, but I never took it serious. And I thought, you know what, when I was at 30, I was like, let me just change my body shape. Let's start going start taking it serious, watching more football and learning how to play like football. And to the point where like I was decent, yeah. But I was thinking, damn, I should have learned that when I was like 12 years old, or like known that, or like drummed in my head, or like even like darts, something as basic as darts. I'm like, this can't be hard. Yeah, I'm good at hand-eye coordination. I was thinking, but everyone's good at hand-eye coordination. There must be a reason why these people are sick. So I can get to a good enough level, and try it. Like basketball, I've never played basketball, but in my head I'm training myself up. I was watching NBA just a minute ago, innit? But I'm like, as soon as I get on the court, at least I know the basics. And like,
you're gonna try some crossovers.
Yeah, like, say with the yo-yo, say with the Tamagotchis, everything. I was just like, there is a chance to be good at something if you just put your mind to it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how fat you are or slow you are, you can do it, man.
I like that, dude.
And you, I know I can see you becoming like a sick presenter, but like, I know your next step is seeing, you know, who's like good at their job, taking those little bits and be like, okay, yeah, I can do this.
See that I think it's every time I see you, like, I leave feeling so much. I didn't come here not feeling good about myself, but you just rouse like that optimism. Like, if it's at like 30 or 40%, and it might have dwindled throughout the day, you manage to pull that back up to like 100. Like, I'm full. I'll be on the train back home later on, and
but the difference
I'll be in operation mode again. It'll kick me up.
But the difference between you is like, you listen and you're talented. Yeah. I wouldn't waste my time trying to G up someone who didn't believe in themselves. I've done it, and it's exhausting. And it's like, the reason why I summon up this energy is because like, I can bounce off your energy and your potential. And even even when you make it and you're a number one guy, like, you're still learning, and you've always got a smile on your face. And that counts for everyone I know that I love to like talk to, because they get it. They get it.
Sweet, man. See, look, it's just, you fill me up, and I'm out. I'm like, done it again, really. But for if anybody actually wanted to catch up with you, because you're a very accessible guy, your website is like an art gallery. It's ridiculous. Your socials are pretty much spot on. Where can any of the guys find you and what you do?
So this year we're launching the studio BLUP.com. We're doing like a whole new like vibe to it, so you'll see that. We're turning that more into like a magazine kind of lifestyle, getting our fingers dirty with culture and really kind of being in the thick of it. So you can find out at studio.blup.com to the artwork. The Instagram is studio_blup. BLUP.
BLUP.
I'm going to launch my own brand with Alex, which will be just a Dines brand, which kind of like takes that to another level of not just being egotistical on Instagram. There's more to it. It's like, how can I go back to the roots of becoming an artist and having these private shows and doing a lot more collaborations, but as an artist, as an actual individual, and kind of like seeing where that takes us as well. So there's loads of stuff that's like we've got in the pipeline, man, and like really excited for this year, and we've got a few things in the pipeline you know about, but
yeah, I can't wait to see that all come to light properly.
And you know what?
For you.
Once this thing happens, like it's going to take us to another stratosphere of just me learning. That gives me access to people that I can actually learn off and inspire.
So it's almost like it resets for you, right? Like you go what you consider to be upping a level, but what that does is it almost makes that whole not learning process start again, but you can meet people that see things differently again.
A bigger network, and it's like even just speaking at universities. I'm going up to Leeds, Liverpool, doing these university tours as well. I'm just kind of like being that kind of not icon, but that kind of kid that the kids look up to say like he's done it from nothing on pure talent, and a little bit of drive and hustle as well. And to see those kids like follow us and follow Studio BLUP and message us and like saying like, that was so inspirational, like I'm ready.
We can catch up with you on socials. So it's at studioblup.com for the website. At studio_blup on Insta.
Yes, you got a good memory.
And the personal bits and pieces was at Dines. So that's you as a designer.
Yeah, at _Dines.
That's kind of like the raw side.
Yeah. But that's not launched yet. You'll see when we'll take that to another level. But early stages.
I can't wait to see it, dude.
Man, honestly. You know what? In Day Club, I can't wait to see where this like takes you, and probably you're a natural.
Thank you, man.
And I think once you're on your 150th episode, you'll be a fucking G.
We'll be my man. Thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kobe. My man.
That's what a fist bump sounds like if you could see it. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, because there's plenty more of these to come, plenty more nuggets, plenty more sources of information for vibes, just keeping you up, keeping that internal chatter positive. It's important, man. Till next time. Bops. That's it. 59 and 59.
Fucking hell, you fucking smashed it, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah, bro.
That's number one.
You're natural.
Every single